One of my favorite TV shows of the last 5 years was a TV show that was based on one of my favorite movies of the last 10 years. Friday Night Lights. I absolutely love that show. It introduced us to a lot of great actors, a lot of great characters. I was really worried that they would even pull it off because I loved the movie so much. When I heard there was going to be a TV show, I was like, no, don't do it, you're going to ruin it. And the only thing that ever came good from something like that would probably be MASH. So I started watching Friday Night Lights. I loved it. I loved every episode. I loved all the characters. For me, the show was next to perfect. And again, it introduced us to a lot of great actors. One of those actors is named Taylor Knish. He played Tim Riggins. I was a big fan of that character, Tim Riggins. He was just really good. I loved how on the playing field he had everything together. He just knew what he needed to do, and he got it done. But then in real life, he just crumbled, and he constantly made mistakes. And that was so compelling about Tim Riggins' character. Now Taylor Knish is making his big, huge acting movie starring experience. He's in the new movie John Carter, which is the first live-action film directed by Pixar director Andrew Stanton, who gave us WALL-E and Finding Nemo. Those are two of my favorite Pixar movies. So I was really excited to see him branch out. It worked really well for Brad Bird and Mission Impossible 4, and I was really looking forward to seeing Andrew Stanton stand out and make a live-action movie. So going into this movie, I was kind of worried watching the trailers. I had some hopes. It looked really good. The special effects looked really good. But then some of the acting, it looked like I was seeing Tim Riggins without a football around the turn of the century on a distant planet called Utah. At least it looked like Utah. I think they shot it in Utah. From the credits it said it was shot in Utah. They shot it in Utah. But as I was going to see the movie, I was trying to throw all that away and just try and enjoy it for what it was. It was kind of weird how it started off at first. I didn't know where it was going. There was a lot of use of names and phrases that I felt, did I have to read the book or the story to get all these names and phrases? I was kind of confused. And then we were given the opportunity to see John Carter before he gets whisked away to Mars, which is also called a different name, which I can't pronounce any of these names. I'm not going to even try because it's just so confusing. He meets all these green people, and the special effects in this movie was astonishing. I loved all the creature effects. I could have just had a whole movie following the green community around these, whatever they are, that had like 2 arms. They were really cool. I mean, there was even a dog that could run really fast. It was really quite fascinating to look at, and I liked it. I was like, this is cool. Let's have a whole movie about this. But sadly, we don't get that movie. There's also a bunch of people that look like humans that talk like this and are very stoic. And we have to get the job done. We have to go perform. The world's going to end. Who is this human with long hair and he doesn't have art all over his body? It was a lot of that. And that kind of took me out of the experience. We get all this really great special effects, and so I was on the fence for a while. I was like, I'm really digging all this special effects. It looks really, really good. And then we're getting all these Mars human inhabitants, whatever, that they just had no personality. And as much as I like Taylor, he comes in and he's pretty much just playing a very brooding Tim Riggins minus the football. I wish he had a football thrown around. I think he does have a future in cinema, and I'm looking forward to see what he has next in store. But I think he has more growing to do because he wasn't really able to show too many emotions. He did make me laugh a few times. He had a few good zingers. But on a whole, I felt this could have been awesome. And near the end, I couldn't help but go, if it wasn't for the special effects, if it wasn't for the production design, if it wasn't for the costume, this might be one of the worst movies I've seen in 2012. But those 3 things saved the movie. And the acting's not terrible, and the dialogue's not terrible. It does just move the story along. There's really no depth to what they're saying. But because of those elements, it's not the worst movie I've seen this year. Almost the worst movie. but not, because I'm trying to focus on the positive when I talk about this movie, because the special effects is great, but it's overly ambitious. It's shoving so much into 2 hours that we can't really connect to anything. It's pretty much soulless. This is a soulless movie. I really wanted to like it. I can understand why people will like it, because the special effects and the inhabitants and the great look of it all. As I said before, the credits showed that it was shot in Utah, and Utah is a very beautiful state, so they did capture that really, really well. It looks beautiful, even though it's mostly in a desert. There's some good stuff in this movie, but that good stuff just doesn't help it from being so dry. Maybe I'll, on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever format, I'll give it another chance. I'll watch it again maybe 5 years from now and see if that changes. I don't know what the budget was on this movie. I think they're trying to build a franchise out of this film, and I'm really worried if it doesn't make any money, we're not going to get the next John Carter movie. Because maybe that will be better. Maybe we just needed all this setup, and then we'd get John Carter, the greatest sci-fi movie ever. This movie just felt like I maybe should have read up about it first. Maybe I should have read all the stories so I could actually get into it. But I don't think a movie should do that. I think you should be able to walk into a movie, not know a thing about it, and just be utterly entertained. And so I'm going to have to give John Carter a very disappointing 2 stars.